Once you are familiar with the general format of their traditional tarot deck and can distinguish between the Major Arcana and the Minor Arcana, you're ready to begin practicing reading the cards. I will outline the technique for shuffling and dealing cards according to the Gypsy Tarot spread, which I find to be best suited for in-depth and detailed synergy readings in other videos. You can begin by using 3 of the 6 lines of the reading, the past, the present, and the future lines, to avoid feeling overwhelmed. You will add the general atmosphere, the outer influences, and the future possibility lines at the appropriate locations in the spread once you're more familiar with cards and creating storylines. The first consideration in undertaking the business of reading cards is the matter of where and how to begin reading. Are there ritual opening ceremonies that must be attended to ensure a good reading? This depends upon what you need as an individual to tune into empathetic flow of information and what the questioner needs to convey that information. Certainly, there are tarot card readers who are engaged in no ceremony whatsoever and can read anytime, anywhere, including crowded street cafes and busy tourist districts. Then there's others who go to great lengths to affect a mystical ambience, keeping their cards wrapped in silk and unwrapping those only after the cards and incense have been lit, and amulets arranged on a black silk or velvet tablecloth properly sanctified by invocations of the right spirits. You can do this sort of thing if you want, but the reality is that there are no instituted rules for tarot reading ceremonies. As I have emphasized, the cards have no power to be animated with auricular wisdom. The power comes from within, guided by the good intent and willingness of the reader to open oneself to channels of subtle perception. Personally, I prefer to conduct my sessions in a tranquil setting, one-on-one with the questioner for whom I am giving the reading. The presence of other people inadvertently robs that individual of the privacy and respect he or she deserves in confronting important life questions. A lack of privacy can have the effect of putting the individual on guard, causing a psychic block, which makes it difficult for the questioner to convey information and impossible for me to perceive. For this reason, I make a point to assure my questioner of absolute privacy and confidentiality, which allows them a comfort zone to examine and talk about matters revealed in the cards. The particular ceremony I engage at the onset of a tarot session is not readily apparent to the person for whom I am conducting a reading, because it's a procedure of internal discipline and mental grounding. A calm and restful state is most conducive to intuitive perception, and I make a point to relax by taking 1 or 2 deep breaths. As I'm doing that, I mentally affirm my intention to act as a positive channel, providing meaningful insight for the well-being, growth, and learning of the individual I am reading for. I then ask for guidance and inspiration from the spirits in understanding and interpreting the messages conveyed in the cards. As a matter of private ritual, I also bang the pack of cards at the edge of the table once or twice, clearing the cards of the energy from the previous reading. Once I have worked my way through these steps of preparation, I'm ready to begin the procedure of shuffling and dealing the cards. As you practice reading tarot cards, you begin to develop your own ritual style. The goal of the initial preparations is to open your mind to the flow of thought and impressions inspired by the presence of the individual consulting the cards, and whatever formal effects enable you to ground and focus yourself are acceptable. The opening ceremony is entirely an individual matter, and you are free to explore and experiment with techniques that enhance your perceptive capacity. In fact, I encourage you to do so until you discover your own unique reading style, with one proviso: flashiness is not a substitute for substance.